स्टार्ट करते हैं 401 से। सॉफ्टवेयर लाइब्रेरी दैट हेल्प्स इन 2D graphic managing image is called graphic package. Extension used for files that are custom defined by user string declaration and identification definitions is called .h. Thrashing occurs when excessive page faults occur due to limited frames. Schedule is ideal for real-time system where a strict dead limits is earliest deadline first. Algo is used in link state routing protocols. Dikshitra algorithm. Protocol resolve IP address to MAC address in local network, that is called ARP. Client server model occurs, server crashes unexpectedly, that is TCP resets the connections. TC technique is used to detect error in data transmission. Parity check, that is CRC. Find shortest path between two nodes in weighted graph, Dikshitra algorithm and Bellman-Ford algorithm. Sorting algorithm is not based on comparison of element, that is counting sort. Control unit design is not part of computer system. Hybrid control unit. Characteristics of SC architecture, a larger set of complex instructions. Address mode allow instruction to specify memory location operand input rather than operand itself. Indirect addressing. So SQL operation used to combine result to selected operands union. Process of converting a database schema into tables mapping. Method is used to handle deadlock in DBMS where diet schema bound diet scheme timeout allows the phenomena of dirty reads read uncommitted. Counter of relation database true normal in 3NF. It eliminates transitive dependency. Locking technique can be used in DBMS. Lost update, permistic locking, two-phase locking. C++ feature supports runtime polymorphism for virtual function. How many alpha name character can repeat in ASCII 7-bit 126? XOR gate will output of high when number of high input is odd. Encryption technique is restricted to quantum complexity attack, latent based cryptography. In RAID 5, true about fault tolerance in disk write operation. Data is stripped across disk parity distribute across each node. Methodology suited for handling changing requirement. Agile methodology. Limitations of Turing machines. They cannot compute undecidable problems. When does 4-bit ripple counter return starting value? When one full cycle of counting completes. Result of repeating data in relational database. Update, insert, delete needed for an IoT device to connect to insert network module. Attack sends too many requests, a stop system, DOS attack. Memory in ideal for storing BIOS setting of computer system. CMOS. C++ statements valid for dynamic memory location. Int strp int equal to new int. True about white box texting. It checks internal code structure. C++ when class has virtual structure, it prevents memory leakage in inheritance. Developed concept of a stored program computer found in John von Neumann. Order by clause. Written SQL without ASCII or DSCII database will automatically use ASCII ascending order. True about SQL self join. It is used to join table with itself. Describe method. CPU continuous checks status IO between polling. SQL allow to define CTE apps temporarily. Result with true about recursion algorithm. Recursion uses a data structure to store function calls. Doubly linked list to traverse from last node to first node using previous pointer, selecting transmission medium for nearest XPath electromagnetic interface mask suitable optical fiber security measure most defined preventive unauthorized multiplication multi-factor authentication C++ have the different from classes private members used to send email from one mail to another server. SMTP ping command is used to protocol in check communication condition between two devices, that is ICMP not key feature of OOPS data manipulation through function. Not a valid address mapping indirect memory placed between CPU and memory increase CPU throughput. Case memory. Logic gates required to build half adder circuit XOR gate and AND gate. System is composed of interactive process to runtime process. Unit testing, integration testing, system testing, acceptance testing. Recursion model is one. Casual casual effects and directional distributed uncontrolled. Breach the integrity of a system. Full access rights for all users. Cache memory found a small size every core processor segments L1 or L label 1 case. C++ used access value assigned pointer known as indirection operator. Software responsible for accepting HTTP request from client and providing HTTP response web server. IDE allow developers to test their code by simulating different scenarios such as different inputs user interaction, that is unit testing. Dynamic memory is made up of most transistor logs gate interrupt which can be minimized maskable interrupt. Memory needs to be refreshed continuously at certain time in DRAM. Purpose of size operator in C to determine size of data type or variable in bytes. Transaction throughput is average number of transactions processed per second, which is a .exe created in C language after linking, responsible for managing the communication between computer in image transport layer. IO system IO address range in the hexadecimal 040 minus 043. One Newman architecture SIST. If every element group G is one inverse, then G is a obligation. Acts like a hub or switch start topology. All IO protection is defined as privilege instruction. Water abstract method without body define an abstract class. Main reason to encrypt a file, secure it for transmission. Micro instruction, store and control memory groups routine. Described as assembly language. Portability of application created in this language not supported. A disk consists of cylinder, track, sector. Describe of good system design, prototype documentation, modular approach. Manufacture process describe the mapping of the function for design. Coupling in software engineering. Coupling is measure of degree functionality independence between two modules. Cyber attack hit after network vulnerability abandoned. Zero-day exploit. Scheduler reduced degree of multi-programming midterm scheduler. Ensures that only essential information visible outside the word information hiding. Algebraic structure P star is called semi-group satisfied associative property refers to sorting a given list of elements, swapping bubble sort. Generation computer built with microprocessor for generation www graphical interface for internet interby time Berners-Lee. Proposed accept of the stored program John von Neumann. Used in second generation computer, transistor and diodes. Hardware mechanisms allow device to notify the CPU that is interrupt. Ideal of cache memory is based on the principle of locality of reference. The storage device directly interact with CPU. Primary storage. Computational circuit CPU is referred as ALU. Fundamental idea behind two module function electromechanical. Digitizer is categorize which of device input contains edge connector used enabling communication between motherboard and different cards, expansion cards. Printer prints character and image without direct physical non-impact printer input device. Flat surface usual comes with style digitizer. A standard keyboard key pres- present on top of row function keys, not a characteristic of good algorithm unordered. Divide and conquer algo solve problem of recursively solve subproblems. Principle does most packet switch use a store and forward. Network device used to connect direct device through Ethernet hub. Most communication security stands employed on firewalls, denied by default, allowed by exception. Mainly used for case memory SRAM, a schema of bus operation, all device given unique daisy chaining. Range of class A IP4 0.0002 127 250 255. MCDC software testing technique stands for modified condition decision coverage. Purpose of providing digital certificate established encrypted secure socket layer. Uses right is assigned to a user and specifying allowable user privilege, not a property of equivalence relation associativity, domain constraints, function defense, and representation integration assertion. Case memory, a small amount is extremely fault static RAM and CPU. Algorithm can be used to reverse order elements array two pointer technique. Service allow group of interrupt user exchange their sum. Usenet, not a common comparison operator union, not a characteristic of virus. Virus is a standalone run independently. Automatic repeat request error management mechanism provide logic link control sublayer. Software works with end user, open software engineer, computer hardware, handle majority of technical details, system software. Not a type of NoSQL, Cubase, main memory, RAM used in volatile and random access. Volatile and random access. Technique of gradually working from high level details, stepwise refinement. Clustering technique used by k-means algorithm. Partial, partial technique. Mechanism ensures that system updates updated are right written path patch management software. MBI 14H example of immediate negation steps. Negation P not equal to Q. FTP use two TCP connections well known is used in port 21 port 20. Symmetric encryption is also known as conventional encryption. Firewall mostly used in a small business packet filtering. Preemptive scheduling is a strategy of temporarily suspending before CPU time slice expires. Disk access time consists of seek time, latency time, not a correct OS defined waiting process. Waiting process is a waiting to be assigned to a processor, not about use of datagram protection. There is a robust error control mechanism in UDP, not required interrupt mechanism to allow process to manage shared data. Loader executed when system first turn on and restart. Bootstrap loader, not a factor of failure of system development project. Size of the computing entities attribute in relation database should not null value keys, not an advantage of multi-programming system. Decreasing operating system overhead. Ideal microcomputer is responsible for temporarily holding data instruction during processing. Manexry. Manexry. Operators precedence in SQL queries bitwise, not multiply comparison between assignment. To avoid race condition, number of process may be simultaneously one. फ्लोइड वर्सल जाएगा सॉल्विंग ऑल पेयर शॉर्टेस्ट पाथ में. दीक्षित्रा जाएगा सिंगल सोर्स शॉर्टेस्ट पाथ में. उसकल जाएगा मिनिमम स्पैनिंग ट्री में. बेलमैन जाएगा सिंगल सोर्स शॉर्टेस्ट पाथ में. सेंटर ऑफ कंट्रोल ऑफ द डिग्री मल्टीप्रोग्राम लॉन्ग टर्म शेड्यूलर हम लोग जानते ही है. token token ring add data link technology for LAN type of firewall, network firewall, host-based firewall, due to which factor coaxial cable less susceptible outer conductor. We can take interrupt service by dial-up and list line. Fragmentation of file system can be temporarily removed by compaction. Software collects information from compute transmission and mourn in its middle spyware based on the use of one or both two based techniques, segmentation and page in virtual memory, number of attributes in relation to DPMS, that is degree. OSI model layer based describe data integration service transport, not a validation level of SSL TLS certificate, a standard validation, not a non-functional requirement. Product features suffers from internal fragmentation, paging, and fixed fast partitioning. Aging is increasing priority jobs ensure technique terminating finite time. Main purpose of SNMP monitoring and managing the network device. APRANET was developed in 1969. The PAT is used such as linked list, sorting algorithm will fastest given list sorted, both modified bubble and insertion. Electronic device used to connect different type of topology having same protocol is used router, not a type of VPN, not VPN. Set of all was possible values of data item is called domain. There are two types of link support in TFS file system, hard links and junctions. To load a byte of data parallelly into shift register with one clock pulse. With with reference to computer memory register, also called is MDR, memory data register, middle layer of three-tier architecture in DBMS application server or web server. Employee salary should not greater than 12,000. Integrity constraint. True about JavaScript. JavaScript execute without pre preliminary compilation. Hardware mechanism allow device to notify the CPU interrupt. A special effect introduced slide presentation is called transition. Whole program is divided in several unit intercalls. Modular programming, not a built-in constant in ASP full in cognition mode in browser used for private browsing. Transmission speed is slow. Twisted pair cable frequency division multiplexing involves multiplexing analog. Malicious software of execution runtime its own modify other computer programs virus. Section 66 IT as says as it criminal sending of messages through the communicate device, which is true. OS maintains base table for each process. Option 2. Option chooses one job among submitted system. Job scheduler. Layer 1 device used to enclose or covered single line. Have repeated function points analyzing how many complexity adjusted. 14. Defuggization converting fuzzy output crisp output. Trailing greater than syntax indicate program XML statement EMT. Empty method destroys session all objects session objects session dot abandon. Project management activity manage all works product throughput process case. Imperative language and declarative language Java and machine learning. Imperative is Java language and declarative is machine learning. Used to identify tuple relationship primary key. Multi-values attribute entity relationship ellipse. Not a life cycle model. Capability of maturity model. Main function of discrete is assigning ready process to the CPU. Core function is isolated system one device drivers microkernel. Problem is undecidable ambiguity problem for CFGS. All the process available ready queue and preemption done SRTF. Asynchronous transfer mode call relay. Example of preemptive scheduling algorithm switching from running to ready state. Memory is independent of address bus. Secondary memory. Topology provided highly fault tolerance architecture mesh. Data link layer is responsible for error-free communication across physical link connectivity, primary, secondary with connecting primary, secondary with network within network. Device used to connect two or more different network gateways. Free partition and are merged, which can allocated needs now nowhere compaction. Field in IP4 datagram that is not related to fragmentation is TOS.